Kurt, I don't want to be the one to tell you how to live. You do you, but I'm just saying if it were me, I probably wouldn't brag about something like that.
Yeah, especially
right?
considering everybody knows how desperately you need this job.
Yeah, what do you got, like 5 kids?
Actually, it's 6. See, right there, there's your mistake. You forgot Jason Jordan.
That's no big deal. For years, Kurt kind of forgot about him too.
Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to the Triple W Podcast, Episode 9. I am August C. Jones, and so today is Avengers Day, but I wanted to get out my predictions on everything that happened on Raw and Smackdown. Well, my predictions on the Greatest Royal Rumble, but I wanted to quickly go over what went on Raw and Smackdown before tomorrow hit, because you know it hits kind of like pretty early, I think around noonish around my time, and so I just wanted to get my predictions out because in a little bit I'm about to go see Avengers Infinity War, so I need to go ahead and hurry up and get this out. But thank you guys for listening. And let's go ahead and get right into what happened on Raw this past Monday. So the show started off with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Basically, Paul Heyman came out just saying what Lesnar is going to do to Reigns come tomorrow at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And basically, it was so weird because usually when Lesnar comes out, you usually hear cheers. I mean, you hear some boos because he's basically playing off as a heel. But when he came out, you hear a lot of boos, and that's so weird to just hear that because it's like you kind of see this whole thing kind of snowballing downhill that people are starting to get tired of Brock Lesnar now because, I mean, the Suplex City thing was good for so many years, and, you know, just him suplexing people like that was cool in the beginning, but now it's starting to get kind of old. And it's like, I don't know, it's not like a good balance, and it's like it's starting to come out now as far as, like, just every time he makes an appearance. A lot of times, I don't know if it was just the city that they were in, but I really didn't hear any boos, and I didn't really hear any cheers, and you can hear Paul Heyman basically react to it. And they even, you saw him react to it, him and Brock Lesnar, but, you know, I bet you they're loving it. They're loving the hell out of it, especially Vince McMahon in the back, because he wants Roman Reigns to go over tomorrow when he wins the championship, which we all know, but I'm going to get into that later on. So yeah, he's basically, and Paul Heyman is alluding to, I know he tried to say it as best as he can, as PG as he could, but was he alluding that literally Lesnar is going to kill Roman Reigns by ripping him to shreds and sending him back in boxes? That's, I don't know, that just, it was, okay, yeah, we talk about killing people now, but whatever. Reigns come out with the response of saying that, and he was calm with it. He wasn't coming out there for a fight. He just came up to the ring calm. He didn't run. He just walked and just told him that he doesn't know how he's going to get back, but he knows that when he come back, he's going to come back with the Universal Championship. And then he just walks away after that. So that ends that segment. Also, we had the premiere of the Sami and Kevin show, and their first guest ever is Kurt Angle. The one thing that basically made me laugh my ass off is what y'all heard at the beginning of this podcast was just that one line where where Kevin is telling Kurt that basically saying that he got 5 kids, and then Kevin is telling Sami no, it's 6. And then he goes in, tries to do the math, and try to look back at his notes. He's like, yeah, it's 5. And then Kevin is like, yeah, that's where you made your mistake. You forgot Jason Jordan. And then him with that response, I didn't see that coming. Him basically saying, well, I mean, it's no big deal because Kurt had forgot about him for years. And I just started dying laughing. That was one of the best parts of Raw. But yeah, that was a great ass comeback. And so Kurt Angle, mad at the comment, and doing what he does, he basically put them up in a match, a tag team for later on, which is Zayn and Owens versus Strowman and Lashley, not Lesnar, but Lashley, close. And so that happens later on, but of course, getting to that match, I'm going to just go ahead and run through this. But even getting to that match, it was a pretty decent match. I'm not even going to lie. It was a pretty decent match. I enjoyed it. Of course, you already know that Strowman and Lashley ended up coming out on top with Strowman doing the running power slam to Sami Zayn for the win. Of course, you already knew that was going to happen. And then it's going to further basically push the storyline of now they're in basically kind of a rivalry with another authority figure, this time on Monday Night Raw. Next, we have Rollins and Balor versus Dallas and Axel. After basically half the night, them trying to recruit people to be their new leader after the Miz got drafted over to SmackDown or shooken over to SmackDown Live. Now, Dallas and Axel approached Seth Rollins and told him that like we're with we're Monday Night Rollins and we can be the new Shield. And of course, Seth said that it was a hard no. They came after Balor and they said that like the Miz went to SmackDown, Gallows and Anderson went to SmackDown. We know what you're thinking. You need somebody to have your back. And then he told them no. And so that brought up this match, which who won? What's on my notes? We got Dallas and Axel really still coming out to the Miz. Not only coming out to the Miz's music, but still being known as the Miz Taraj, which I was kind of confused. Well, for the simple fact that if you betrayed the Miz on his last night on Raw, why are you still coming out to, as the Miz Taraj and under the Miz's music? That don't make sense. Storyline purposes, that didn't make sense. But yeah, so basically, as you know, Rollins and Balor win their tag team match, and bam. I mean, it really was no competition when it came to that. It really was no competition. Baron Corbin made his Raw debut after the shakeup, and he was supposed to go one-on-one with No Way Jose, but he basically didn't want to participate in the match, so he walked back in the back. No Way Jose did the conga line all the way down to the up the ramp, and to basically Baron Corbin coming back out and blindsiding him and attacking him and beating him down up on the ramp. And that was the end of No Way Jose. I haven't really been taken by No Way Jose. I really don't care too much for his character. To me, I know a lot of people say that, but I even thought the same thing because I don't watch NXT. So my thoughts of him when he first came out was Adam Rose, because that's literally what he reminds me of. It may be some differences, but literally reminds me of Adam Rose. I don't know if he can escape that. They tried to do the Adam Rose thing, but it ended up how it ended up. And now they're trying to do it again with No Way Jose. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll jump on board later on. But for right now, I'm just not sold with him. I really don't care too much for that. The leader of worlds came up with their, Bray and Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, or broken Matt Hardy, it don't matter. They came up with their new name, and then they're coming out as the leader of worlds, which is, basically Matt Hardy saying delete, and then Bray Wyatt is the eater of worlds. So, I mean, it's clever, but it's like really cheesy, but it's whatever. I guess it's supposed to be that way. So I can't really complain too much about it. I skipped over a note, but I'm gonna get back to it. And so they basically beat the Ascension, whatever. I don't care. I don't think nobody cares about them anymore. I mean, I know it's kind of like bad to say, but yeah, they beat the Ascension. After that, we had Gable won over Mahal. Another thing that happened on Raw, nothing that I really wanted to touch too much on. Ziggler and McIntyre come out and they beat Titus Worldwide, making their stance or whatever. But also, one of the things I wanted to touch on before I move on to SmackDown, I told you I was going to be moving through this like really quick. Also was the Alexa Bliss PSA about Nia Jax, and it's called A Moment of Bliss, which is actually pretty cool. Like, I enjoyed this little thing that she did with Nia Jax, saying that she was with Nia Jax one day when they were friends, and they came across this homeless woman who was really hungry, and Bliss talking about like what being like the person that she is. She gave her burrito bowl, and Nia Jax snatched it out of her hand and started eating and laughing in front of the old woman's face, and it was just funny. And because she did it all with a straight face. It wasn't nothing where she did it with a straight face and then started laughing, but the whole thing, she just did it with like a sad kind of like voice and just a serious face. And she was just talking about bullying and everything else. So it's kind of ironic that Bliss is making, Nia out to be the bully, but Bliss is doing the bullying. So I kind of like how they're going with the whole thing and making it like contradictory to her character and what she's doing, all her actions and stuff. So I'm enjoying it. That PSA was really good, especially the name of it, Moment in Bliss. They should continue to do stuff like that. They should have another one every week come out with a new Moment of Bliss. Like that was I enjoyed that. But that was basically alluding to a 10-woman tag that basically ended off the show just like last week. We ended off with a 10-man tag. And so with that, basically part of the PSA as well, Alexa Bliss, she was talking to Bailey and everybody else on the opposing side that was teaming up with Nia and telling them to watch out because she's a bully and blah, blah, blah. So we get into the 10-woman tag, and it was Bailey, Sasha, Nia, Amber Moon, and Natalya versus the Riot Squad, Alexa Bliss, and Mickie James. So I don't even remember if there was a legitimate winner for this match. I don't know. Maybe I missed something, but all I remember is that a lot of chaos broke out. Towards the end, you had Mickie James. Well, Natalya got hurt during the middle of the match. Mickie James got in the ring, and then she went out to Natalya and started beating, basically throwing more insult to injury by just beating her down, hurting her leg, because that's what she hurt. That's what she hurt before. And while she's doing that, no other than Ronda Rousey comes out for the save, and Ronda Rousey gives her that, what they call it, the resting bitch face to Mickie James. And Mickie James looked like she was kind of like wanting it. So Ronda Rousey gets up in the ring, and she puts Mickie James up in the armbar, makes her tap out, and then basically helps Natalya back up the ramp, which is actually pretty cool. I enjoyed that little thing. I just want to see Ronda Rousey actually in a match on Monday Night Raw. I don't know when they're going to do it. They said that she was going to be on every single Monday Night Raw, and she wasn't going to have a special contract, but it's starting to seem like she's having a special contract. But more than likely, she's getting more training. So I mean, if it makes if it makes any of the matches that she's going to be in the future any better, I'm all with it. And so that wraps up Monday Night Raw. Let me go ahead and get into SmackDown Live. Actually, SmackDown Live was actually a better show. I'm not even going to front. Monday Night Raw was just long. It had some good parts to it, but overall, I really didn't enjoy it. But SmackDown Live started off with The Miz and Miz TV, and he basically was calling out Daniel Bryan. And he was talking about how he's going to win back his Intercontinental Championship tomorrow, and he called out Daniel Bryan. After that, Big Cass comes out, and it's basically a whole down talking Daniel Bryan little segment. Miz and Big Cass end up getting face to face, and back to basically stepping on each other's toes, but then it all ends with Big Cass cutting that actually good promo. I didn't mind it. He actually cut like a decent promo, and then he walks out the ring, and the whole promo was just on Daniel Bryan about how this little man got more, popularity than he do, and he's a bigger guy and more impressive or whatever. And the thing that's popped up in my mind is that when he said that he's living under the shadow of a little person named Daniel Bryan, I'm thinking, you forgot about Enzo. At first, I thought he was going to mention Enzo, but he didn't. So I'm like, I guess, but, you really mean Enzo, don't you? But that's neither here or there. So after that, After that, we found out that Daniel Bryan was attacked in the back, and that's the reason why he didn't come out when The Miz was basically telling him to come to the ring or whatever, inviting him to the ring to be on Miz TV. Next after that, we have the Iconics. They beat Becky Lynch and Asuka via illegal pin. I forgot who it was. I think it was what's her name? Ain't Billy Kay, Peyton Royce. I believe Peyton Royce. It was one of them. You all, if you watched it, you all know that one of them pinned Becky Lynch, and with their feet on the ropes, basically giving them leverage to push down as they were pinning, and they picked up the victory over them. Next after that, we got Styles, Gallows, and Anderson versus Rusev Day and Nakamura. Basically, he went to Shane McMahon, and Shane McMahon said that he was going to get a chance to go at Nakamura before tomorrow's event in a 6-man tag. And so there you have it. Rusev Day ends up picking up the win when Nakamura basically hits Gallows with the Kinshasa to the back of the head. Yeah, I said Gallows. Yeah, he hits Gallows with the Kinshasa to the back of the head. And then Nakamura low blows AJ after the match, because AJ jumped him, and so he ends up getting the upper hand by low blowing him again. And right before Nakamura is about to hit him with the Kinshasa, Anderson comes in, blocks it, but ends up getting hit himself. And then Nakamura hits him with another Kinshasa and basically goes at AJ Styles. And yeah. Hold on, what else happened? Do I get it written down on my notes? But yeah, he basically, instead of so that was his mentality, was that instead of hitting AJ Styles from that point on, he was going to hit Anderson again, and to where AJ Styles was helpless to prevent it, which basically is going to play with AJ's mind frame. But it's like the way AJ was moving, I know he got hit in the nuts, but he had enough time to recover, and Nakamura was taking his time. He literally was taking all the time in the world to set up the Kinshasa right there with AJ Styles 2 feet away, but he still couldn't stop it. So that they could have did a little bit better, but it was the way it was. Carmella came out because it was a contract signing with her and Charlotte for tomorrow, because Charlotte was invoking her rematch clause. And so the whole beginning of it was Carmella gloating about it, how she beat Charlotte and everything else, and how she's the women's champion, or SmackDown women's champion. Put on a video and said that after the video play, y'all gonna stand up and basically clap and cheer for her because she's the champ. The video got done playing. No one did what she said, so she said she's going to play it again. During the second playing of it, that's when Charlotte comes out. Cool as ever. Really didn't come out and say anything. She sat down while Carmella was sitting here gloating, putting the title up in the air. And Charlotte just was like, okay. And then she signed on the dotted line. And then she said, woo, whatever. And you got Carmella putting the title up in her face this is my title, and then Charlotte gets up and botches a headbang on the table, which you can really see it. It's at the time that she was supposed to go down with Carmella's head, Carmella didn't go down, so it was her hands went down, but Carmella's head stayed up, and a second after that, her head went down. So it was kind of a botched move, but it's whatever. What else happened on SmackDown? We had Benjamin beating Orton with the distraction of Sunil Singh. That's his name, Sunil Singh. And basically he ends up getting the pin over him by Pater. I think that's his finisher move on Orton. And so that's basically kind of setting up more than likely a future rivalry between them two. So that's that. And that's really all that stood out to me on SmackDown and Raw this week. Like I said, SmackDown was far the better show. So yeah, it is what it is. And so we're getting to the main event, which is the predictions for tomorrow's the greatest Royal Rumble ever in life, ever existent, ever. And so I'm basically just gonna run down some of the matches. I believe I got all the matches, and who I think is gonna win the Royal Rumble. the 50-man Royal Rumble, because this is the, greatest Royal Rumble ever. So we have, after being taken out, after being put on, taken out, and put back on, we have Rusev versus The Undertaker. My prediction is that The Undertaker is going to win. There's no reason for Rusev to win. I would be surprised if he did. I will be surprised, but I think The Undertaker is going to take it. Well, yeah. Undertaker taking it. Okay. Anyway, so we have, and that's in the casket match. Let me not forget that. That's in the casket match. And so we have the United States Championship being defended. Jeff Hardy, the champion, defended it against Jinder Mahal, the recently former champion. And I think Jeff Hardy is going to retain. It's not going to stay. It's not going to go back to Mahal unless they're going to do something where, I mean, put it like this: one of the titles have to go back. I believe. What is it? So the United States Championship is on. Yeah, both of them is on SmackDown. Yeah. Who is the Intercontinental Champion? No. Okay. Gosh, I'm tweaking. Where? Okay, so the Intercontinental Champion is Rollins, so that's on Raw, and then we have, okay, so I believe it's going to stay where it's going to stay. Just looking at that, it's going to stay where it's going to stay. Jeff Hardy is going to win over Mahal. Mahal is not going to get it. And then next, we have the Intercontinental Championship being defended in a four-way ladder match. Four-way ladder match with Samoa Joe, The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor. I think Rollins is going to retain. I think Rollins is really going to retain. There's no, I don't know. Like, if anybody's going to beat him, it will be Balor. But I doubt if they're going to put the strap on Balor, at least right now. At least for right now. But I think Rollins is going to retain. Then we have the Bar versus the Leaders of Worlds. And Hardy. And this is for the vacant Raw Championship. Put it like this. This is for the vacant Raw Championship. I think Hardy and, the Leader of Worlds, which is Hardy and Wyatt, I think they're going to win. The Bar, they're on SmackDown. So I believe that they're going to try to keep them on SmackDown. So, yeah, the Leader of Worlds, Hardy and Bray are going to take it and being for the first time ever Raw Tag Team Champions. Next after that, we have the WWE Championship, Styles versus Nakamura. I feel like Nakamura is going to take it. He just had this new heel turn. I believe that they're going to try to do something more with it. Because Styles, he can't keep winning. They're going to try to get something out of it. I think Nakamura is going to end up taking it. I could be wrong. Of course, anything could go. Just like Vince McMahon like to change stuff at the last minute. But I feel like Nakamura is going to end up taking it. He's probably going to do it by cheating, hitting him with the low blow, and then getting him with the Kinshasa. But I believe that Nakamura is going to do it. The Universal Championship will be defended with the champion Lesnar going against Reigns. We all know. I ain't got to speak too much on it. This is supposed to be the result at WrestleMania, but they changed it at the last minute. Reigns is going to retain. Well, Reigns is going to gain it because I guess they feel like he would have more of a better reaction where they are at the Greatest Royal Rumble rather than if he would have won it at WrestleMania. So we all know what the outcome is. It's nothing really to speak too much on. Then we have the greatest Royal Rumble match ever in life, forever and ever and ever, existing ever, at the beginning of the time ever. 50 people, 50 guys, because there's no girls on this show because they can't wrestle in, India. So, there's 50 participants in this match. Only one can come out the winner. And even though he is on the card already, I believe Rusev is going to come out on top. What big of a victory would that be if he lost against The Undertaker, but then he got put inside the greatest Royal Rumble match, and he ends up coming out? That will be a big pop. People will be like, Rusev Day, Rusev Day. So I believe that he's going to come out on top. I don't know all the participants that's going to be up in there. I don't know who is going to make guest appearances, if they will, but I believe that Rusev is going to come out on top. And so those are my predictions. And that is the end of this show. Tried to make this as brief as possible. Was trying to, do a few things or whatever before, tonight is the night. But I wanted to get out my predictions and everything. So, there's really not anything else I need to cover, so I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for listening. Peace. So hey, before you guys leave this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and give this video a like because it will really help me out. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And you see that little bell? That's a notification. Turn that on, that way you'll be notified for anything that drops on my channel. And if you look down in the description below, you will see all the links to my social media, so go ahead and follow me on those if you haven't already. As well as there are links to my other content that's on the channel, from movie reviews to podcasts to so much more. And I hope to see you guys here again next time. So thanks and peace out.